Evolution contacted me a few days ago and asked me if I would be interested in reviewing a couple of items. Naturally I said yes, because I really like Evolution gear, and they've sent me an R185CCSX Plus circular saw and an ST1400 ST1400 circular saw track. Now this saw is designed to run on the track, and obviously that is going to be very useful for cutting large sheet materials. So I'm really quite keen to get this thing unpacked and have a look to see what it can do. Now the CCSX Plus is different to the normal CCSX. The saw is the same, or it's virtually the same, but it's got a couple of differences. The first thing is it's got an LED that lights up the area that's been cut by the saw. The second thing is, instead of a 3-meter cable, it comes with a 4-meter cable. Thirdly, it's got the premium blade, which has got 4 more teeth, which means you get a finer cut with it. And lastly, but by no means least, it comes with a carry bag. The CCSX comes with 3 lengths of track, which is just over 1 meter long. The Plus doesn't come with a track. So let's look at some of the specifications. The saw comes with a 1600 watt motor. It's a 185mm blade. It will cut 64mm at 90 degrees and 47mm at 45 degrees. As I said, it comes with a 4-meter cable and it weighs 5.1 kilograms. Inside the circular saw box there is a circular saw, the premium multi-purpose blade. This is for dust collection, it screws onto there. There are 2 fittings there and the screws in order to attach it. A set of instructions and the carrying bag. Some specifications for the ST1400. There are 2 lengths of track, both at 700mm. The width of the track is 182mm and the weight of the assembled track is 3 kilograms. The saw and the track are both compatible with other brands, and I'll go through that later on in the video. Inside the box we've got a set of instructions, a nice looking carrying bag, 2 sets of track, 2 very sturdy clamps, an Allen key. These are the 2 strips that join the 2 pieces of track together, so you won't see them when you go into the box. You've got to turn the track upside down and they're actually connected to the track. The premium blade has 20 teeth. The standard blade has got 16 teeth, and if you look at the gap between the teeth there, you can see the difference between the 2. Now that is a very substantial base. Obviously required for working on the track. You can see where the saw actually locates on the track there. The saw comes with a parallel bar. It's got a nice rubberized handle. The front handle is also rubberized, and I really do like the way that these handles are configured. This is a nice setup. So adjustments on the saw are really easy. If you want to change the angle of the cut, just flick back that cam lock clamp. Round on the back there is a thumb screw there that needs to be slackened off. Set the angle, tighten up the thumb screw, put the clamp back, and that's it set at 45. The 0 and 45 degree scale there is really very clear and easy to see. And then to set the depth of cut, you'll see that we've got a scale marked on the side there. In the bottom there, I don't know whether you can see it, there's a little arrow that allows you to set the depth. It's just a cam operated clamp, and then set the depth where you want it, clamp it back down again. I do love these cam locks. So to lift the blade guard up, obviously you've got the lever there. The blade has a braking mechanism. There is the LED, and that is supposed to light up the cutting area, so if there's any lines matched there you can see that. Now this is only for the CCSX Plus. The dust extraction port with the adapter, and it's a good fit for my shop vac. So now I'm going to assemble the track, and what I've got to do is slacken all these grub screws off halfway in. That looks about right to me, and then tighten these down. Next we've got to slide these 2 inserts into the next section of the track, and you've got to leave a 1 or 2mm gap here. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the track assembled. That was very easy and quick. Now the clamps that come with this track are designed to run along the same grooves, which I think is a very neat feature. So I'll put the one on that side, These are very nice clamps. They've got a grub screw at the back so you can adjust the height, and obviously when you tension them it'll make them even stronger. That will grip even stronger when they're tensioned. So if you look along the full length of the track, there is like a hard plastic or rubber strip that runs all the way along, the white stuff there. That is called the sealing strip. What you've got to do is what's called match the saw to the track. What that means is you've got to run along the track with the saw, and the saw will cut some of this plastic strip off. Once it's done that, the edge of the saw blade will match the edge of this plastic strip perfectly, which will mean that you can actually line it up onto a line on a piece of work, and it will cut exactly where this plastic strip ends. And these are little cams here. If you see, there's one at the front and one at the back, and you need to turn them until there's no movement on the fence. Now that is solid. Now if I actually slacken that back, you can see there's movement. If I turn it, and you can see it actually moved the saw. Now that's locked and there's no movement, and the same on the back. There we go. So now the track is matched to the saw. Now a few years ago we did some renovations to the inside of the house, and I replaced something like 10 doors, and just about every one of those doors needed a bit taken off the bottom or something taken off the length, and I had to resort to using something like a planer. I did use my cabinet maker's saw with a sliding carriage, but that was really difficult and awkward, and it was very difficult to cut at any sort of angle. So I have a feeling that this track mechanism is going to make a job like that so easy. It's going to make cutting long lengths of sheet or doors or anything like that very, very easy. So let's have a look and see. So let's just say that you're fitting your door and you've placed it in the doorway and the floor's uneven, and we'll make it difficult. We'll say that at this end you've got to take off about 1/4 of an inch, and then at the other end it needs say 3/8. And this is just guesstimating. You would have to mark it carefully if you were doing it properly in real life. Now then, we'll place the track on the door, and remember that this plastic edge exactly matches the inside edge of the saw blade. So we'll just line that up against our pencil mark. So remembering that these clamps slide along inside the track. Right, that is well and truly clamped now. One more check along the pencil line. That is perfect. Set the depth of cut on the saw. So we'll cut along the track. That is absolutely brilliant. It really is. That is a perfect 90-degree cut all the way along. And remember, it's at an angle. Now that is going to be so useful for people. It really is. That is smashing. It's done a very neat job of cutting it. And don't forget that if you buy the longer track, the 2.8 meters, you'll actually be able to run along the length of the door and do exactly the same thing, which is such an advantage. So as I said, this is a multi-purpose blade, so I'm going to demonstrate some cuts now in various materials. This is some wood with some screws. So as you can see, absolutely no issues with going through that. Next we've got mild steel. It's mild steel box section, and the thickness of the steel is 3mm. That's cold to the touch. I can hold it in my hand, it's ready to work with. A nice clean cut there. Next, some uni-strut for any electricians. As you can see, cold to the touch, a nice edge to work with. 6mm mild steel plate. Again, could work with that, no problem at all. Nice clean cut. So there were just a few examples of the materials that this multi-purpose blade will cut through. Now, that is just the tip of the iceberg. Aluminium, plastic piping, plastic guttering. One of these saws could definitely save a tradesman an awful lot of time, and they're also great for the DIYer as well. They really are very versatile, these multi-purpose blades. This is a list of saws that the Evolution track is compatible with. If you pause it, you can see the make and models. And the tracks made by these manufacturers are compatible with the Evolution saw. So again, if you pause it, you can see which ones are compatible. Just a couple more things I'd like to mention. I couldn't really demonstrate the LED that the CCSX Plus comes with because it's too bright out here. But I would imagine that in dim conditions that would prove very useful. And I've got to say that a 4-meter cord, I wish every manufacturer would issue these things with 4-meter cords. And the last thing I've got to show you is when you've finished for the day, your trusty old circular saw fits in the supplied bag. Now this is only with the Plus version. There are pockets inside. It's got a very strong Velcro fastener, so that protects it when it's in your van or your boot or in the garage. Very nice touch. I think my own personal opinion is I would prefer the CCSX with the track rather than the Plus, but the Plus does have some real advantages. It's really obvious just how useful this saw is with the track. If you can think of the applications that can be used for. Anywhere where you need to cut large sheet materials, 8x4 plywood, or if you need to cut doors like I did, there are so many applications where that would prove so useful, and it is much better in my opinion than using a saw with a sliding carriage, because I've got a cabinet maker saw and it's nowhere near as easy as that. And certainly the parallel guide that this saw is supplied with would never be able to cope with that. It is much better. It's so easy and so accurate. I think it's absolutely brilliant. So well done, Evolution. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this review and thank you for watching.